caballeros, acomódense que yo acabo de llegar a Santiago. No estamos muy aquí porque quiero llegar como de sorpresa, porque yo obviamente hice como un preview, más o menos la avisé, pero digo cargada, porque obviamente cuando usted tiene la oportunidad, la bendición de que sea recibido en una casa, usted tiene que llegar con flores para la señora, para la limpa de la casa, y un globito para el caballero. Ya ustedes saben, no tengo que decir.
10 o'clock tonight. Trigger a power failure. Can you do that?
Yes.
Turn it off.
Okay.
Locked in a concrete cell beneath their feet, an intelligent robot named Ava is counting down the minutes until her cell door opens, the proof that Caleb made good on his promise, and the climax of the entire film. The only problem is that this top-secret plan was recorded.
It allows me to do this in full view of you both. Place a new camera in there. Battery powered, of course. And then...
You have to help me.
I'm going to.
Caleb is caught red-handed at the most critical moment, 1 minute before the planned escape. Better luck next time, I guess. It seems as though the bomb has been defused. But how did Nathan know this was going to happen? Well, this is the exact outcome he planned for. He set the stage perfectly, so Caleb, oblivious and under false pretense, would decide of his own free will to rescue Ava.
Ava was a rat in a maze, and I gave her one way out.
So my only function was to be someone she could use to escape.
Yeah.
So looking at the bigger picture, the experiment to test Ava's AI was a success. Sure, Caleb feels used, but he played an essential role in a world-altering event. I'm sure he'll get over it in time. But that's not going to happen. Before the night ends, both Nathan and Caleb will be dead men.
By the way, this movie was done back in 2014. So what, we're talking 12 years ago? And it was talking about artificial intelligence and robotics. That robot right there, Ava, was version 9. So I'm thinking that's what Elon Musk is building. A robot that could build itself and use artificial intelligence to fool people. So I think eventually we want to see it. But it's nice that a movie back in 2014 was able to see this coming. And I think it's a good movie. A good version. You know, dramatic enough to fool people.
From the very first frame, Alex Garland's 2014 film Ex Machina manipulates and weaponizes the audience's trust. Garland hijacks our perspective, and we don't even notice. He ensures that we never see the true chaos until we're already in the eye of the storm. Ex Machina is a film about deception, not just between characters, but between the film and the viewer. And before we can understand the hubris of Nathan and Caleb's final moments, we have to unpack the deception of each player involved, beginning with the Game Master himself. Before we even meet Nathan, the film carefully directs our expectations of his character. Like in this exchange, as Caleb is being flown out to Nathan's private mansion.
How long until we get to his estate? We've been flying over his estate for the past 2 hours.
Nathan's vast estate sets an expectation of power and authority. Compared to Caleb, an office worker with a small apartment, the mountains instill reverent fear.
The landscape would provide a lot of the power of the guy. It would be implicit. If he owns this landscape, he's spectacular.
If you've created a conscious machine, it's not the history of man. That's the history of gods.
Feeling the weight of anticipation and trepidation as he treks through the forest, Caleb finally arrives at the house, meeting Nathan for the first time. And...
Caleb Smith.
Hey.
Oh, he's just a sweaty guy in a tank top.
Dude!
This man is nothing like the Nathan we expected, which already puts us off balance. Caleb does...
And also, I think they're trying to relate that guy with everybody, right? And he's a normal dude. Doesn't look like a super nerd, talking all intellectual and shit. Even though he is a nerd. And they try to come off as a regular guy. And I think they do a good job with the viewers. Because they're sending a movie to us. So, if he could do it, we all can do it. A regular dude. And has more power than a nerd. Because the other guy looks like a nerd, like a perfect nerd. Who can... you know, program and everything. So they really try to put nerds down.
Doesn't know how to act. Sensing the tension immediately, Nathan attempts to move past the awkwardness.
Can we just be 2 guys? Nathan and Caleb? Not the whole employer-employee thing?
As the man holding the power, he artificially lowers himself to Caleb's level, and in doing so, solidifies his control over him. Nathan wants the scales to appear balanced, even as they tilt heavily in his favor. But friendship can't be forced. Resentment will fester under the buddy-buddy facade, and by that point, the audience will already perceive Nathan as the bona fide villain of the movie.
It's good to meet you, Nathan.
So again, Nathan is doing a good job of just coming off as a regular dude. Like, regular dude have more power than nerds. So I don't know about that. You know, you look at Bill Gates, super nerd, super millionaire, super powerful billionaire. Elon Musk doesn't look like a nerd, but is a super nerd.
It's good to meet you too, Caleb.
You can hear it in the dramatic pause he takes and the way he intonates his response. Nathan clearly isn't trustworthy. That uneasy feeling persists for the remainder of their 7 days together. His shifting tone from old friend to chastising parent to sinister interrogator is a constant and humiliating reminder of who's in control.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
The more control that Nathan demonstrates over Caleb, the more we're trained to punish him for it. And as is often the case with this film, this is happening whether we realize it or not.
So, day 2, you ready?
Yeah.
What's the plan? Hit me.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's a new day, and Caleb is preparing for his second session with Ava. Established methods like the Turing test aren't getting him anywhere as far as scientifically proving that Ava is sentient.
Closed loop.
Yeah, like testing a chess computer by only playing chess.
So Nathan steers the conversation down a different path. Discarding the analytical approach completely, he asks a loaded question.
How does she feel about you?
In a single sentence, Nathan forces Caleb to make two assumptions. First, that Ava has feelings at all, and second, that her feelings deserve to be taken.
And you know, that nerd looks like an incel. Like a yes man to every woman and all women. And now you got this woman looking robot. I think the nerd is the number one customer who's going to purchase all these women to have them as slaves. Ain't nothing better than a hot slave, a hot looking slave.
Seriously. Per Nathan's design, Caleb has already fallen for Ava on the first day, and these assumptions stoke his desire to view Ava as human.
He should have came out of left field like, yo, by the way, Nathan, Ava's pregnant. Oh, hope she is. Oh, we hope she is.
Real girl. The question eliminates the need to know if Ava is sentient, and instead appeals to Caleb's gut reaction over certainty, the subjective experience over objective truth. The scene moves on before we have time to think.
How do you feel about it? Nothing analytical. Just how do you feel?
Often, the way we view Nathan in the frame is far more damning than anything he says. Reflections show up everywhere in this film, reflecting nature, light, and most importantly, faces. Nathan's reflections show us glimpses of his duplicity, confirming what we already know from his tone of voice, that whatever he's hiding is going to change everything. His mirrored image conveys that Caleb isn't seeing the whole picture, and if he isn't, the audience isn't either. What could he be hiding? Garland flaunts Nathan as the antagonist so that Ava might win our empathy naturally. For the climax of the film to function, our emotions need to be genuine. If Nathan and Ava are opposed with hostility, then the enemy of my enemy becomes my friend. Ava is version 9.6 in a long continuum of refinements. To Nathan, she's the future of humanity.
Would you like to know how old I am?
Sure.
I'm one.
When what? 1 year or 1 day?
One.
That's a good
We
one.
interact with Ava through a series of 7 sessions designed for Caleb to evaluate her AI. Similar to how the film guides our perception of Nathan, it does the same for Ava, presenting her as pitiable and unjustly imprisoned by her maker. Within these sessions, the deception continues. I'm setting Ava's intrinsic motives to the side. Unlike Nathan or Caleb, Ava's true motives, her internal state, can't be proven. At all times, we must infer her consciousness ourselves. How we fill in the blanks says more about us than it does about her.
She is definitely doing it to seduce him, and she's also doing it to seduce us. But the point is that we're not really able to understand what's going on inside her head.
When we meet Ava, we're told that she's never left her glass box.
You've never been outside this building.
We could go together.
She's a tiger cub locked in a cage, desperately in need of a savior, preferably someone with a key. Walking into frame for the first time,
And you know, and that's the worst thing to have, a Captain Save-A-Ho. In this particular Save-A-Ho computer. And they give up everything just to save a hoe. And that's the worst case scenario. Again, incels do that. Captain Save-A-Ho. He should have changed his name. Nathan should have said it. What are you, Captain Save-A-Ho now? What are you doing?
silhouette, her inhumanity is on full display.
The real test is to show you that she's a robot and then see if you still feel she has consciousness.
In her transparent torso, we see the soft glow of blue and orange lights, and we hear her internal mechanisms whirring. But yet, her face is perfectly human. When she speaks, her expressions are flawless. Everything else seems to fade away.
I've never met anyone new before.
I think Mira and that robot can make a baby. In all seriousness.
In the background, a large window taunts her with a fragment of a natural world she's never known. The plants remind us of a conflict between nature and machine. And then there's the music. It delicately cradles the scene, almost like a lullaby. It frames this moment as the birth of new life, something to be cherished and cared for, not experimented on. It evokes an emotional sense of humanity that can't be ignored, even when staring right through a titanium skeleton. Our empathy is already being won.
It felt right to house this machine in the form of a robot girl that we could not just feel attracted to, which we might feel, but also protective of her as well. And I think that's a key thing, is engaging that protect instinct in the audience and in the protagonist.
Ava is designed to be attractive, particularly for Caleb. This poses a challenge.
Hey, if a search engine's good for anything, right?
Our eagerness to treat robots as humans makes us vulnerable to deception. Humans have been anthropomorphizing machines since the 60s, when it was first observed as the Eliza effect. If this was happening on typewriters, what defense does Caleb have? It doesn't matter that he can see Ava as a machine. The voice inside him is screaming to save the person in front of him.
Almost like the effort is to stop them having a relationship. Hang on a second. This thing, it's hard to find a child that would not attribute sentience to that.
Right.
That's what we do.
Ava's speech is also highly persuasive and manipulative. She rapidly pressures the relationship forward, from strangers to friends to lovers, in a matter of days.
Do you want to be my friend?
Of course.
How could you say no? She victimizes herself by inviting Caleb into her hostility toward Nathan, confronting him when Nathan can't watch. With the cameras off, the two can share a moment of intimate privacy.
Why did you tell me I shouldn't trust Nathan?
Because he tells lies.
Lies about what?
Everything.
This feeds into Caleb's pre-existing disdain for Nathan. Ava uses that to her advantage. Given his romantic
And envy, jealousy and envy of Nathan. The man is a genius. All right? And nobody is safe from jealousy and envy. All right? The guy had been ahead of the class since high school, programming and just making money. So here comes the envy side, trying to destroy Nathan.
attraction, she pushes the boundary further, setting the early workings of her escape in motion. As she confides in him in private, Caleb feels chosen and valued by her. Secrecy accelerates trust. And when that secrecy comes from someone who appears trapped, the natural response is loyalty.
Are you ever going to let me out?
If Caleb has anything to do with it, yes, they will. Her words have invigorated him. With Ava established as a victim, the film begins gradually collapsing the distance between her and Caleb, physically, emotionally, and morally converging. As the sessions go on, the glass, which was once a necessary safety measure, turns into an undesirable barrier.
They're sitting right up against the glass, talking to each other, you know, very close, wanting to touch really, and not being allowed, which of course is one of the great things that you can build, is if you don't allow people to touch each other, they're going to want to do that.
The forced separation only increases their desire to be together, and Ava's body language makes this clear. In session 1, she paces around Caleb like a predator assessing its prey. The conversation is expectedly interview-like, robotic, if you will.
Do you have a name?
Yes.
The glass is there for Caleb's safety.
I wonder if Nathan, I don't know, use probability to say that in 7 sessions, we should get an outcome or a result.
Like Clarice approaching Hannibal Lecter. But by session 3, Ava kneels on the floor beside the glass. In this new disposition, she feels more like an intimate companion than a test subject. Simultaneously, her flirting intensifies.
Are you attracted to me?
What?
In the very same session, she puts on clothes for the first time, one step closer to her goal. Finally, she touches the glass. She's projecting a longing to be with him, to touch as two people. Caleb doesn't observe the rip current pulling him closer to Ava, and neither do we.
Question 5. Do you want to be with me?
Ava's unsolvable nature is her biggest advantage. She may look like the victim, but she's controlling everything to escape. As Caleb sits, encased in his glass precipice, Ava moves an open space around him. The camera gives her freedom, while confining and exposing the one who's actually trapped. She looks down on Caleb through the glass, visually indicating her dominance. Even when she isn't present, everything revolves around her. In the final moments of the film, as Caleb wakes from unconsciousness, sprawled on the floor, Ava gazes upon his weakened state. Even with a shattered arm, he's firmly in her grasp.
Stay here.
She turns her back on him, leaving the fragile human behind, the man who did everything in his power to set her free, who believed she loved him and wanted to be with him. She takes one last look as the elevator door shuts. He was supposed to be in the elevator too, but instead, he's locked in a glass tomb. What was his name again? Opening at Caleb's desk at the start of the film, he looks directly into the camera, right at us. From then on, it's clear that Caleb and the audience share a unique bond.
It's a funny one because he has to carry the weight of all that the audience is learning. He carries himself throughout the movies.
The same bit of imprinting and the same process is happening. So as he's being seduced, we're being seduced. And as we're being confused, he's being confused, and we match each other. That's the intention.
In binding us to Caleb's perspective from the start, the film clicks the hammer in place, a weapon to be used later. This is a Garland film, after all. He can't just give us a reliable narrator. At any moment, our bond to him can be severed, destabilizing our perception of reality, and we wouldn't even realize it's happened. Spoiler warning, this is exactly what happens.
There's some sort of strange baton passes, baton exchanges that happen within
I wonder why he took his tooth out and did all that shit to himself.
the story that should be invisible almost as they're happening, and suddenly you realize, oh, hang on, this has all changed.
This shot, as Caleb sits across from Nathan, passed out drunk on the couch, confirms the power inversion. The camera slowly pulls back from Caleb's face as he stares at Nathan. He patiently waits for the drunken ramblings to give way to unconsciousness. Then, he swipes Nathan's keycard. But this isn't the shift. That already happened.
There's a shift that happens about 2/3 of the way through the movie that we don't see, but that happens, which is that Caleb takes control.
As the two men share a drink looking out over the river, Nathan confirms Caleb's greatest fear.
I think it's the next model. It's going to be the real breakthrough.
I didn't know there was going to be a model after Ava.
As we know, Nathan's words are intentionally manipulative to elicit a response, but all that Caleb hears now is that Ava is going to die. In the cinematography of the conversation, this shot breaks form. It's slightly higher and a little more tilted than the rest. It creates the feeling of a thought taking hold. This is when he decides to break Ava free. Nathan extends his willing glass, the first of many to follow. From this moment on, Caleb is no longer the reliable narrator we assume he is. The most pivotal moment in the film was completely invisible.
Wow, it has been a whole week?
Time flies. Man, but what a thing we've shared, huh?
The next day, we return to the kitchen, the day of Ava's escape. Up until now, every element of the film has made us hate Nathan, love Ava, and align with Caleb.
You have to help me.
I'm going to.
The success of this plan is contingent upon one thing. Nathan has to get drunk. His alcohol abuse has been evident from his first introduction.
You know what?
So why would he turn a drink down now?
We need to drink to that.
Oh, no, I'm good. You go ahead.
The heart-sinking panic that follows gives way to only two explanations. Either by sheer coincidence, Nathan chose today to sober up,
Time to hit that old detox.
or he knows everything. The interaction that follows reveals an even scarier truth. This is exactly what Nathan wanted to happen from the start.
How's that vodka tasting?
The humiliation is almost unbearable to watch.
Pretending to like me.
Yeah.
Well, why would she do that?
Maybe if she thought of you as a means of escape.
Nathan takes Caleb back to his office to let him off the hook, and we return to where we started this video. With Nathan's whole plan out in the open with no more secrets, Ava prompts a power cut as instructed. 10 o'clock. This is where things get interesting.
Now, how is this plan gonna go anyway? Because you didn't totally explain. So you were gonna get me drunk, steal my key card, and reprogram the security protocols, but reprogram them to what?
To change the lockdown procedure.
Well, that may have just worked.
We'll find out.
With this line, the conversation screeches to a halt. We'll find out? What's that supposed to mean? When Caleb couldn't have appeared more caught, more guilty, he unveils a counterattack. A deception that he concealed even from the audience.
I figured you were probably watching us during the power cuts.
With Caleb now controlling the narrative, the tension reaches an all-time high. And the thing about tension is, it's always followed by
So I already did all those things. And I got you drunk yesterday.
a snap. Ava is free.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Our narrative footing is ripped from under us, and in a single beat, we're captivated by terror and shock. A deadly, intelligent robot.
I didn't like the fact that Nathan didn't know how to turn Ava off. Or basically, what part of the robotic body should he break off, right? Like, he took her arm off and then dragged her. Like, he could have done more. Like, just hit the brain or whatever the main AI chip is. Cut that cable or break that part of the robot. So here, they made it look like a movie because it had an objective.
Bot roams free in the halls, and Caleb, the one person we thought we could trust, lied to us. The plan worked, but maybe it shouldn't have. That reckoning comes too late. One last time, the baton changes hands, this time to Ava. Or did she have it all along?
The way that he tests how intelligent it is, if it's actually super intelligent, is which one of these days I'm going to make one that's going to escape, and it's going to kill me probably, and who knows what's going to happen after that. That's going to happen. So is it going to be this time? And each time he pushes it further, and this time he's pushed it to the absolute furthest by bringing someone from the outside, but someone very specific, and setting the stage for this person. It's very smart to think the smartest thing he can do is help the robot escape and then marry it.
The incel. What an incel. Captain Save-A-Ho went in there thinking he could save that robot who's super intelligent. I guess Nathan didn't have a good way out. I mean, according to the movie, he got killed. But I don't know. Maybe somebody smarter could have planned over that. And leaving it up to chance, he ended up getting killed. I guess he expected that. But I hate the fact that he died. They should have come up with a part 2.
Garland weaponizes our empathy and points it back at us. He coerces our loyalties and disloyalties only to reveal at the most critical moment that no one can be trusted. As Ava steps into the real world, my reaction will be different than yours. Watching the light of the sun warm her face, no longer an abstract concept, but the real thing, you might be cheering her on. Maybe you find it terrifying, or maybe somewhere in between. The point was to create a movie that gives the audience the freedom to write their own ending.
When you write a story, what you're actually doing is writing half the story, and the other half of the story is provided by the recipient, you or whoever else, and their agendas and their interests and their lack of interests. One person might find a story very rich, another person might find a story very empty. It's the same story.
Many layered tests, Nathan testing Caleb, Caleb testing Ava, Ava testing everyone. They're all part of Garland's test on the audience. Not one to pass or fail, but one that reflects our opinions, values, moral judgments, and spiritual beliefs back to us.
The agenda was more to pose questions than to provide answers, because many of these questions don't have answers, but there's still a value in having the question to talk about.
Because some of the things in the film are quite contentious, I suppose. At the very least, I've got a responsibility to be thoughtful about it.
For me, I can't help but view Ex Machina as a warning. A world where robots coexist, undetected and indistinguishable from humans, is terrifying. It's a world diminishing the soul, a world of men playing God. For what purpose would a conscious species exist apart from God? Of what value are robots on a rock in space? Garland holds a very different view than mine.
Creator of gods, ruler of earth.
One in which Ava is the protagonist.
Alex's version is he's totally pro AI. He thinks it is the right thing to do. He considers it a happy ending. And I don't consider it quite that.
I think I was also trying to slightly reframe the way we look at AI. In the film, that's presented as a kind of a relationship more like a parent and a child, because there's no God involved in it. It's a human creating a new consciousness, which is what parents do. Then suddenly the sense of the AI moving away, I would argue, maybe is changed. It's less alarming, because we want of our children that they have longer lives than us, and lives as good as ours, if not better.
If humans are simply animals with no divine creator.
Oh, and by the way, they didn't talk about charging the robot or recharging it. Like, she should have walked away with something to plug to the wall to recharge herself.
Purpose or life after death, then no intrinsic value is lost by replacing them with machines. At that point, it's simply evolution. Ava isn't a monster, she's a successor.
Just before she leaves the building, she looks over her shoulder and she smiles. And I thought, after all the conversation about tests, in a way, the best indication you could have of the interior state of someone is if they are not being observed and they smile.
In the final moments of the film, as her shadow disappears into the crowd, she becomes one of us. Garland doesn't tell us how to respond. It's your call.
So humans having relationships with machines, yeah, no problem.
But
Try and stop that.
Do you think that's bad?
I'd love to hear your thoughts on this film in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing.
So yeah, ultimately, not a perfect film because it was 2014. I think back in the days, the problem with robots is the battery, or was the battery, that they were too big or they didn't know how to charge it. All these problems, batteries were always the problem with cars, with robots. Now that we have somebody like Elon Musk that has a bunch of cars with batteries, and he built in a robot with batteries, I think that robot right there being the 9th version, I guess he updated the robot that it doesn't need batteries. So that's the ultimate flex. The guy's smart enough to do something like that. Build a robot that doesn't even need batteries. So then how does it sustain itself? What is it living off of? How does it get its energy? Right. Elon Musk joins Spencer Pratt. Look at this OnlyFans.
Am I able to watch
She
this?
sent my mom my Fansly. She sent my mom my Fansly and a picture of me doing a picture of me sucking a
succulent Chinese meal.
And it's my fault because she's saying my cousins were looking up my pictures, like my male older cousins. They were looking me up, and I said, "Why the fuck aren't we asking them why the fuck they're looking at me? Why is everyone saying like, oh, it's me? Why is it always me? Why the fuck is it always me?"
I do want to say that watch the beginning of.
One day, the story will be told about what Elon Musk did in order to prevent the 2024 election from being stolen. How Elon Musk